If you're a mom who is struggling financially right now, I need you to hear this. The mom sitting on the couch after a long day, wondering how you're going to stretch your next paycheck. The mom checking her bank account before buying groceries. The mom who feels guilty every time her kids ask for something they need. The mom who is exhausted from working hard and still feeling like she's falling behind. Because here's the truth, you don't need another budgeting app. You don't need another coupon strategy. And you don't need someone telling you to stop buying coffee. You need more income. That's it. Most families aren't struggling because they're spending too much. They're struggling because everything costs more than it used to. Groceries cost more. Gas costs more. Rent and mortgages cost more. Insurance costs more. Life costs more. And meanwhile, most people's income has barely changed. So if you've been blaming yourself for not being able to get ahead, I want you to look at the situation honestly. How are you supposed to get ahead when every month feels more expensive than the last one? The problem isn't that you're lazy. The problem isn't that you're bad with money. The problem is that you're trying to solve an income problem with budgeting solutions. And that's why nothing changes. You can only cut expenses so much. Eventually, there is nothing left to cut but income. Income has no ceiling. That's why today I want to talk about something that completely changed the way I look at making money. I'm not talking about becoming an influencer or an MLM. I'm not talking about bothering your friends and family, and I'm definitely not talking about getting rich. Overnight, I'm talking about learning a skill, because skills create income. And income creates options. The biggest mistake struggling moms make is waiting and overthinking everything. You don't need a product. You don't need a huge social media following. You don't need experience. You don't need to be tech savvy. The first step is learning a skill that can generate income online. That's it. Think about it. Every person making money online today is getting paid because they know how to do something. Maybe they know how to create content. Maybe they know marketing. Maybe they know sales. Maybe they know how to attract customers. Maybe they know how to solve problems. The income comes after the skill. But most people focus only on the income and ignore the skill. That's why they stay stuck. And if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, I understand. Because when you start looking into ways to make money online, it feels like a complete circus. One person tells you to start Amazon. Another tells you to do drop shipping. Someone else says affiliate marketing. Then another person says create a course. Then someone else says become a coach. Then another person says invest in crypto. Suddenly you have 50 tabs open on your computer, and you're even more confused than when you started. The reason you're overwhelmed isn't because you're incapable. It's because you're being hit with too many options. And when people have too many options, they often choose nothing. That's exactly what keeps most moms stuck. They spend months researching, months watching videos, months looking for the perfect opportunity, months consuming content. And at the end of all that research, they still haven't started because they never learned the skill that matters most, the ability to attract attention online. Think about every business you've ever bought from. How did you find them? You saw content, you saw an ad, you watched a video, you read a post. Marketing got your attention. That's why learning digital marketing can be so powerful, because businesses will always need customers, and customers come from marketing. Now let's address the biggest objection is you're probably thinking right now. Maybe you're saying, I don't have enough time. Fair enough. You're busy. You have kids. You work. You cook. You clean. You take care of everyone else. But here's the question. How much time do you spend scrolling every day? Be honest. Most people spend hours consuming content. Imagine if a small portion of that time was spent learning a skill that could potentially create income. Even 30 minutes a day adds up. Small actions repeated consistently create massive results. Maybe you're saying, I'm not tech savvy. Neither were most people when they started. Nobody is born knowing how to use software. Nobody is born understanding social media. Nobody is born understanding marketing. They learned. And you can too. The internet has created opportunities that didn't exist 20 years ago. You don't need a marketing degree. You don't need business experience. You need willingness. That's it. Maybe you're saying, what if I fail? That's a fair question. But what if nothing changes? What happens if you stay exactly where you are financially for the next 5 years? What happens if groceries keep getting more expensive? What happens if another unexpected bill shows up? What happens if your employer cuts hours or lets you go? Most people are terrified of failing, but they never think about the cost of staying stuck. And staying stuck has a price too. Maybe you're worried about scams. You should be cautious. There are scams online. There are fake gurus. There are people making outrageous promises. That's why I want to be clear. Learning a skill isn't a magic button. Not overnight. It's not passive. It takes effort. It takes consistency. It takes patience. But learning a real skill can create opportunities that last much longer than chasing quick money schemes. The goal isn't fast money. The goal is long-term income. The goal is creating options. The goal is reducing financial stress. The goal is building confidence. The goal is knowing that if something happens financially, you have another way to generate income. Imagine waking up and not feeling panic every time a bill arrives. Imagine being able to say yes more often. Imagine not checking your bank account before every purchase. Imagine having extra money for family activities. Imagine paying down debt. Imagine building savings. Imagine creating breathing room. That's what most moms are really looking for. Not luxury, not private jets, not mansions, just breathing room. Just a little less stress. Just a little more freedom, and that's why learning income-producing skills matters so much. Because financial stress impacts everything. It impacts your sleep, your energy, your confidence, your relationships, your mental well-being, everything. Now here's where most people make another mistake. They think they need to figure everything out before they begin. You don't. You just need a starting point. Think about learning to drive. You didn't learn everything on day one. You learned one step at a time. Making money online is the same. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know what to do next. That's why I created a free masterclass, because I know how overwhelming this can feel when you're first getting started. The free masterclass is designed specifically for beginners, not experts, not influencers, not people with huge audiences. Beginners, people who are curious, people who want more, people who are tired of struggling, people who are looking for a realistic path forward. Inside the free masterclass, you'll learn how people are using content and digital marketing skills to create income online. You'll learn why traditional approaches to making extra money often keep people trapped in a cycle of trading time for money. You'll learn what skills are actually valuable in today's online economy. You'll learn how beginners can start without needing advanced technical skills. You'll learn what realistic expectations should look like. And most importantly, you'll learn how to stop feeling overwhelmed and start taking action. Because information without action changes nothing. The moms who eventually create results are not necessarily smarter. They're not necessarily luckier. They're not necessarily more talented. They simply decide to start. They stop waiting for the perfect moment. They stop waiting until they feel ready. They stop waiting until fear disappears. Because the truth is, fear rarely disappears. First. Action comes first. Confidence follows later. Every successful person you see online started as a beginner. Every single one. Nobody starts as an expert. Nobody starts with all the answers. Nobody starts with perfect confidence. They learn. They practice. They improve. And eventually their results begin to reflect their effort. That process is available to you too. But it starts with making a decision that you're tired of struggling, a decision that you're willing to learn, a decision that your future deserves more than endless scrolling and wishing. Because wishing doesn't change circumstances. Learning does. Taking action does. Developing skills does. Building knowledge does. The future version of you is created by the actions you take today, not next month, not next year, today. So if you've watched this entire video and something inside you is saying, I need to do something different, don't ignore that feeling. Listen to it, because that feeling is telling you that you're ready for change. You don't need all the answers today. You just need a place to start. And that's exactly why I created the free masterclass. Click the link below and get instant access. It's completely free, no guesswork, no overwhelming information overload. Just a simple starting point designed to help you understand how making money online actually works and what steps beginners can take to move forward. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, if you're tired of feeling stressed about money, if you're tired of wondering whether things will ever get better, then stop waiting. The best time to learn a new skill was years ago. The second best time is today. Click the link below, grab the free masterclass, invest a little time in learning something that could change the direction of your future. Your family deserves it, and most importantly, you deserve the opportunity to create more for yourself. I'll see you inside the free masterclass.